Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be looking at clutch drive tools.
Okay.
We've got this really cool article from Artado's Quick Update.
Yeah, I was reading that one.
It's called, What is a Clutch Drive Tool?
Yeah.
And we're going to try and break it down
Yeah.
so that everyone listening can understand a little bit more about these tools and maybe get inspired
To use them.
to use them.
Oh,
Exactly.
I think the thing about clutch drive tools is they solve like a problem we all have.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, I gotta think everyone listening has at some point
Strip the screw.
stripped a screw or like worse, broken it off
Yeah.
because they over tightened it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So frustrated.
And I love how this article starts out by talking about Legos.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a good analogy.
Really good analogy.
Because when you're putting Legos together, you kind of know instinctively
Yeah.
how much,
How much to push.
to push.
You don't want to break those little bricks.
Exactly.
It's bringing that kind of control
Yeah.
to tools and fasteners,
Listen.
things like that.
Okay, so how does it work?
So there's a few key parts to a clutch drive tool. We have the handle,
Okay.
we have the torque adjustment,
Okay.
the drive bit, and then kind of the key to it all is the clutch mechanism.
Okay, so the handle, I think we can all figure out.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory.
The part you hold on to,
Yeah,
drive bit, I'm assuming, is the part that touches the screw.
that actually interacts with the screw, yeah.
Okay, so what about this torque adjustment and clutch mechanism?
So the torque adjustment is like a dial
Okay.
that lets you set the maximum rotational force
Okay.
that the tool will apply. So it's like choosing the right size wrench for a bolt.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're working with something delicate, you want to set that torque lower so you don't damage it.
Gotcha.
And then the clutch mechanism is what makes it all happen.
Right.
So when the tool reaches that preset torque,
Okay.
the clutch disengages, and that's what prevents you from over-tightening.
So it's like a little safety.
It's built-in
Built in.
safety net.
Okay, cool.
The article compares it to a mic gear.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Helps to visualize it.
Yeah.
It engages and disengages to regulate that force.
Okay, so no more strip screws, no more broken screws.
Right. In theory.
In theory,
Yeah.
you should never over-tighten anything again.
That's awesome.
Especially important when you're working with, like, sensitive electronics, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Scripping a screw on a smartphone or a laptop.
Nightmare.
Yeah, it can be a really expensive repair, so this can help avoid that.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about kind of the mechanism
Yeah.
of how these things work. But the article mentions that there are different types of
There are different types.
clutch drive tools.
So you got your manual ones, which are kind of like a souped-up screwdriver. You're relying on your own muscle power to turn the screw.
So like the traditional screwdriver, just better?
Yeah, exactly. Just a little more going on in there.
Good. And those are really great for smaller tasks around the house, you know, putting together furniture or tightening a loose hinge or something.
Yeah, just general around the house.
Yeah. And then you have your powered versions,
Okay.
which use electricity or batteries to provide the torque.
Ooh, so that's got to be nice.
Yeah. And those are really helpful for bigger jobs,
Okay.
like automotive repair or working on appliances.
So if I'm out in the yard trying to fix the lawnmower
Exactly.
and I can't get this one stubborn screw out.
That's when you want to break out the power tools.
Okay, cool.
And then, of course, you got your industrial-grade clutch drive tools, which are designed for high-volume, heavy-duty applications.
Like on assembly lines and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, manufacturing, construction.
Okay, so we got like the small ones,
Mhm.
the medium ones, and the big ones.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, cool.
Um,
So there's a clutch drive tool out there for every need,
that's all.
every level of experience,
Cool.
from assembling a bookshelf to, working on an assembly line. Gotcha. So we've talked about how they work the different types, but like why
use them?
why use them?
Why bother?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I mean, we touched on it.
Yeah,
One of the biggest reasons is to prevent damage.
for sure.
You don't want to strip those screws.
Yep.
You don't want to break things.
Right.
But there are other advantages, too.
What else?
You know, like, think about a task like assembling a piece of furniture.
Okay.
You might have dozens, even hundreds of screws to tighten.
Yeah.
And with a regular screwdriver, you're relying on feel and guesswork to achieve consistent tightness.
Right.
But with a clutch drive tool, you set the torque once, and then every screw is tightened to that same spec. So it saves you a lot of time and effort.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's about efficiency, too.
It is.
Not just...
Yeah, and not only that,
Okay.
but because you're not constantly adjusting your grip
Yeah.
and straining to apply the right amount of force, they can actually reduce hand fatigue.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which is a big plus if you're working on a large project.
Yeah. Or if you have any problems with your hands or wrists, that'll be huge.
Now, when it comes to delicate tasks,
Okay.
like electronics repair,
Yeah.
imagine you're replacing a screen on a smartphone.
Okay.
You need to remove those tiny screws that hold the casing together.
Mm-hmm.
One wrong move, and you could damage the delicate components inside.
Oh, yeah. You could fry the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I've definitely stripped a couple of those tiny screws before.
I think we all have. It's so easy to do with those tiny little screws, but with a clutch drive tool, you can dial in the precise amount of torque needed
Okay.
to loosen or tighten those screws without damaging those components. It's all about control.
So it's like having a surgeon's steady hand, but for screws.
I like that analogy. And the more we rely on increasingly complex and miniaturized electronics, the more valuable that precision becomes.
Okay, so we've talked about all these advantages of clutch drive tools over a regular screwdriver, but I'm curious, like, how do they actually compare?
Head to head.
Yeah, head to head.
Yes.
Like, the article had this really cool table
It did, yeah.
that lays out all the key differences.
Yeah, and it really highlights those core benefits that we've been discussing. Like with a regular screwdriver,
Yeah.
you're relying entirely on your own judgment and muscle memory
Yeah.
to apply the correct amount of force, and that can be inconsistent, especially if you're tired or working on like a repetitive task.
Right.
A clutch drive tool kind of eliminates that variability.
So it's kind of like the difference between baking a cake from scratch
Yeah,
and using a cake mix.
I like where you're going with this.
Like, with the cake mix, you have more control over the outcome,
Yeah,
even if you're not a master baker.
right. And just like that cake mix ensures that your cake is going to turn out fluffy and delicious every time.
Yeah.
A clutch drive tool helps you achieve those consistent, reliable results.
Okay. I am sold. Where would someone find these wonder tools in action?
They are everywhere.
Right.
I mean, think about it.
Oh, good.
Automotive repair.
Yeah.
Mechanics use clutch drive tools to tighten bolts and screws
Okay.
to specific torque specifications.
Yeah.
That ensures that everything is assembled correctly and safely.
Because if they're too loose or too tight, it can lead to problems down the road.
Major problems, yeah.
Okay.
Then you have industries like electronics manufacturing,
Yeah.
aerospace, where precision is absolutely critical.
Right.
They're using clutch drive tools to assemble these delicate components with incredible accuracy.
So it's not just for, like, home DIY projects.
No. They're in all sorts of industries.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
It is. Speaking of impressive, the article has this fun facts section.
Ooh, fun facts.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
I love fun facts, hit me.
Well, did you know that some clutch drive tools have built-in lights
What?
to illuminate your workspace?
Oh, that's got to be so helpful.
Yeah, I mean, it's a simple feature, but it makes a huge difference.
Especially if you're, like, under a sink.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
working in like a tight or dimly lit space,
Yeah.
it's like having a mini spotlight.
That's awesome. The article calls them the smart screwdrivers of the tool world.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one.
Smart screwdrivers.
It makes me wonder what other innovations we might see
Yeah.
in the future of tool design.
Well, everything is getting smart these days.
I know, right?
Maybe we'll have hammers that tell you when you've hit the nail perfectly.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Or wrenches that, like, automatically adjust
Yeah,
to the size of the bolt.
the possibilities are endless.
Endless.
But for now, let's bring it back to our star of the show.
The clutch drive tool.
Exactly.
Okay.
Before we wrap up, I thought it'd be helpful to address some common questions
Okay.
that people might have about clutch drive tools.
Yeah, for sure.
The article has a good FAQ section
Okay.
that covers some of the basics.
Let's dive in.
All right, so first up, do I really need a clutch drive tool for home use?
That's a good question.
It is a common one, and the answer is it depends.
Okay.
If you only occasionally tighten a loose screw here and there,
Yeah.
a regular screwdriver might suffice.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy DIY projects,
There.
assembling furniture, working on small appliances, a clutch drive tool can be a game changer.
Yeah.
It's all about having the right tool for the job.
Right. And like we talked about, it's not just about convenience.
Right.
It's about preventing that damage,
Exactly.
making sure everything is assembled correctly.
Now, here's another one that often comes up.
Okay.
Are clutch drive tools safe for kids to use?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, you can see a curious kid wanting to help out with a project,
Right.
but obviously safety is paramount.
Absolutely.
The article advises that kids can use clutch drive tools,
Okay.
but only with close adult supervision.
Okay.
And it's important to choose a tool with an appropriate torque setting for the task and the child's strength.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's all about introducing those tools and skills in a safe and controlled environment.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, what else?
All right. Are all clutch drive tools powered?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I think there's a common misconception that anything with clutch in the name must be electric or battery powered.
Right.
But as we discussed earlier, there are manual clutch drive tools that operate solely by hand.
Okay.
And they offer that same precision and control as their powered counterparts, but without the need for batteries or an outlet.
So there's really a clutch drive tool out there.
For everyone.
For everyone, regardless of budget or experience level.
That's right.
That's awesome.
It is, and I think that brings us to an important takeaway.
All right.
Despite all the technical details we've covered today,
Yeah.
the beauty of a clutch drive tool lies in its simplicity and ease of use.
I like that.
It's a tool that's designed to empower you, to give you the confidence to tackle a wide range of tasks with precision and control.
It's not about being intimidated by the technology. It's about embracing it.
Exactly.
To improve our skills.
Exactly. And speaking of enhancing capabilities,
Yes.
I'd like to leave our listener with a final thought-provoking question.
Okay, hit me.
That stems from the article's discussion of smart screwdrivers.
Okay.
Considering how much we rely on screws and fasteners in our everyday lives,
Yeah.
from our homes to our gadgets, where else do you think the precision of a clutch drive tool could be beneficial?
Whoa. That's a great question.
It is.
It really opens up a whole world of possibilities.
It does.
I'm already thinking about all sorts of applications where that controlled force could be a game changer.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of exploring these topics.
Yeah.
It sparks that curiosity.
Yeah.
It gets us thinking about new ways to solve problems and improve our interactions with the world around us.
Well said. It seems like we've only just scratched the surface of this topic.
I think we have.
But for now, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the world of clutch drive tools.
Agreed. But before we go,
I'm going to encourage our listener to keep that question in mind as you go about your day. Notice the screws and fasteners around you.
Yeah.
Think about how they're used and maybe even brainstorm some innovative ways that clutch drive technology could be applied in new and unexpected contexts.
That's a great challenge.
It is.
To leave our listeners with.
It embodies the spirit of the deep dive
Yeah.
to spark curiosity, ignite imaginations, and empower you to explore the world.
With a fresh perspective.
Precisely because the more we understand the tools and technologies that shape our world, the more equipped we are to create, innovate, and make a positive impact.
And on that note, we'll bid you farewell.
Until next time.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep diving deep.
I'm already thinking about like medical devices.
Oh, yeah.
Where those tiny adjustments are so crucial.
Absolutely. Imagine a surgical tool that utilizes that clutch mechanism to prevent applying too much pressure.
Yeah, during like a really sensitive procedure, right? Or a microscope that uses a similar principle to make those incredibly fine adjustments.
It's like the possibilities are endless when you start thinking outside the toolbox.
It really is, and that's what I think is so exciting about this kind of exploration.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about understanding a specific tool.
Right.
But it's recognizing those underlying principles and how they can be applied in new and innovative ways.
I feel like this deep dive has given me like a whole new appreciation for just everyday objects.
Me too.
That I usually take for granted.
Yeah, you start to look at things a little differently.
Yeah, all the thought and engineering that goes into them.
Absolutely. And hopefully it sparks some curiosity in our listener as well.
Yeah.
Who knows, maybe you'll be the one to invent the next groundbreaking application.
For clutch drive technology.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, hey, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of clutch drive tools.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.